In fact, in the next 1 month or so, you will see dollars coming down, the exchange rate coming down in a very phenomenal way. In fact, in my estimation, in the next couple of months, the exchange rate will come below 120 shillings. Maybe 115, you never know.
All those Kenyans, business people, investors, who have been holding US dollars for speculation purposes, please offload your dollars to the market today and tomorrow. It's very honest advice from a truthful man. But the demand for the dollar will come down and the shilling will gain. And we don't want Kenyans to lose money. So those who have been holding dollars everywhere, hoping that it will continue going up, it will go down, starting today, tomorrow, the day after. So if you have a few dollars that you are still holding, please let them go to the market, and you'll come to thank me for it after a week or two.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Elijah Gichuru. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, tap that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a video. Like I say, this is the greatest YouTuber in the Republic of Kenya, and the A in my name stands for exactly what you need. So, President William Ruto has been caught severally on camera giving promises that actually do not materialize, or which lapse before the time that he had prescribed actually comes to pass. So one of the critical promises that he has given, or he had given to Kenyans, was the fact that the dollar rate in Kenya will come down. So the exchange rate between the shilling and the dollar has weakened to its all-time low during the tenure of His Excellency President William Arap Ruto, and it was the hope of the president, or the promise of the president, that he's going to ensure the dollar rate comes down. And the deputy president, a few days later, actually echoed what the president said, and he did this during the offloading of a very, very, very big vessel in the coast of Mombasa that had actually ferried fuel or oil all the way from Saudi to Kenya, and this oil was supposed to be sold in Kenya shillings, so that the dollar can actually go down and the shilling can actually increase in value. So the deputy president actually said in a very few days the dollar will actually come down. I mean, the shilling will actually gain against the dollar. But a few months later, the dollar is still reigning very, very high against the shilling. In fact, an all-time high, like never ever seen before. You know, one person wrote on Twitter that you can actually pretend to be working in governments, but the dollar exchange rate will always expose you. So if you're working but you're not actually showing that you're working, you're actually showing you're working but you're not working, the only true way and the only true measure that will actually expose your work is actually the dollar exchange rate, because the dollar exchange rate is not something we can internally manipulate. It is an international market that is shaped by so many other factors, including the balance of trade and things like that. And if you're not doing the right thing, then it will actually show the dollar exchange rate. So there are so many consequences of having the exchange rate being very high in Kenya. And one of the things is the cost of travel increases, foreign travel. when you have to use the dollars to travel to another country, for example, the United States, the cost doubles, increases very much because you have to convert your shillings into dollars, and that makes it very hard for you to actually have what you call disposable income because the rate is very high. The other thing that actually changes is the cost of importation. It becomes very, very high. For example, right now, Kenyans are finding it extremely difficult to purchase vehicles because we import most of the vehicles we have here. We import the vehicles, and it becomes very difficult because you actually have to use the dollars. You actually have to convert to dollars to or the cars are sold in dollars. Okay, so when you convert the shillings, it will take more shillings for you to actually get that vehicle. So right now the value of cars has actually increased to around over 300,000 Kenya shillings. So the same car that 2-3 years ago will cost $1 million, right now is 1.3 million, and this puts further strain on Kenyans. Bearing in mind the cost of fuel is actually unbearable. You add the cost of purchasing the car, the cost of insurance, the cost of maintaining that car. It is a cost that can only be met by people who are actually financially stable. And these promises by our president, actually it is something that concern the opposition. And I remember at some point they actually used to call him Mr. 6 months. Okay, later they called him Mr. Next Week. Why? Because every time the president gives promises, he's like, by next week, by next year, by next month, and then what I normally wonder is who's the president's personal assistant? Actually somebody, because the president is very busy. Sometimes I get to ask myself if personally I have tasks that I've not accomplished up to now, and some I even sometimes forget, and I'm just a mere graduate assistant. How about a president of a country? He's traveling to hundreds of countries. He's traveling to places within the country, and therefore it can be very hard for him to remember some of the promises. But that's why he has a lot of people working under him. Over 20 cabinet secretaries, even 22 cabinet secretaries, PSs. Every cabinet secretary has departments, 2 or 3 PSs. He has the police, the military, he has parastatal heads, director generals, vice chancellors, principals in high school. So it behoves the president that he also has a deputy, his principal assistant, Rigathi Gachagua. He has a personal assistant, and these people should actually take note of the promises and also remind the president. But sometimes these promises are given a rush, and it is actually not possible to actually achieve them in these timelines. Remember, people just want to hear what they want to hear, and the moment you tell them you're going to make it very soon, that is what they want to hear. They want quick fix solutions. Okay, and sometimes maybe it pressurizes the commander-in-chief to give timelines that are actually irrational, so to speak, or timelines that are too near. But sometimes also the contractors might actually fail the president. I remember recently he talked about Thwake Dam, and they were saying that we cannot continue building a dam forever. There's need for completion, and he has given the completion of Thwake Dam to be next year, February or thereabout. Yeah, because the dam has actually taken a lot of time, and these are the issues. I don't know what President Ruto was actually predicting about the dollar. What bet he had on the dollar, because his rate was 115. Right now it's 146, 150. Yeah, 150. Yeah. But on the flip side, also the dollar benefits people who are exporting labor, people who are in the US, Kenyans in the diaspora being paid by dollars. It's actually a benefit to them because their incomes are higher. And when they convert to Kenya shillings, when you earn in dollars and spend in Kenya shillings, oh my goodness, you have a hunk of your life. You feel nice because your rates are good and the money is much more, and you're able to do more things. You're able to get more. You're able to get more disposable income to spend, and that is one thing that you people should do. Try and work and make dollars. That's how you'll beat inflation, you'll beat the high cost of living. Yeah, because we'll have more disposable income. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This has been your guy Gichuru. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. You also subscribe if you have not subscribed, turn on the notification bell, and see you in the next video. In the meantime, adios.